Hello and welcome to the video. My name is Jensen. I'm a singer-songwriter, composer and content creator, and today we're going to be looking at how do you make a 5K or 4K time-lapse on a Canon 600d. To Americans, I think that's the Canon Rebel T3i. Most of you will know that the Canon 600d is capped to 1080p at 30 frames a second. So how on earth do you make a 4K time-lapse using the Canon 600d? Here's the thing. Now, a time-lapse. Here's the definition of a time-lapse. The photographic technique of taking a sequence of frames at set intervals to record changes that take place slowly over time. When the frames are shown at normal speed, the action seems much faster. So, capturing something taking place over a longer period of time, for instance a sunset that might take place over 3, 4, 5 hours, and speeding that footage up or whatever it is you've captured and playing it back in maybe 10, 5, 20 seconds. How do you do that? Especially, how do you record that when you're only capped to 10 minutes of footage at a time with Canon 600d, or in some cases, just half an hour or something like that. Now here's the key thing. Taking a sequence of frames. Now that could be video or it could be photographs. It could be a series of stills, which is how I take mine. So if I want to, for instance, capture a sunset, rather than sit there pressing record every 10 minutes as my camera shuts off, what I would do instead is get myself one of these, which is an intervalometer, and it allows me to take a photograph in however many periods of time in a gap. It could be every second, it could be once a minute, it could be once an hour, you name it. You just dial it in and let it run. So this is how it's done. My camera is, well, the 600D, actually its stills are really high definition. They're about a 5K still, which is really, really good. So you can take that as a still, and if you're just taking photographs in certain intervals, then you can piece that together and create a time-lapse out of it. So, it's gonna test your photography, composition skills, as much as it is kind of your videography and your editing. So like setting up the shot right is really important. Take the time to do that and getting that right, because at the end of the day, for instance, if you're taking a time-lapse of a sunset, that might be 4 hours, and say you want that to happen over 10 seconds, and at the least you want 30 frames a second perhaps, you're going to need 300 photographs, 300 still frames over that space of that 4 hours. Now you might want a lot more. In my case, I would want a lot more to play with in case I wanted to slow it down or stretch it out or whatever. You need to know that that shot is set up and composed right. Quite unforgiving if you get it wrong, especially if it's something that's going to happen once a day. You might have a really beautiful clear day with all the colours and things like that, but another day, especially in the north where we are in England, it's probably going to be grey most of the time. So you really want to try and get it right. So spend time getting your shot composed and then go into it. And it's just a matter of just doing your maths, decide how much do you want, and of course, like, however many stills you take is going to determine how choppy your footage is and how smooth it is. So another reason why this way of doing it is so good, because you're using stills, you don't have a file size cap. You can just keep taking and taking and taking until your card runs out, or you can record straight to a computer if you want to tether it up that way. So it's really, really handy. You can take these 4K, 5K stills and just let it run on your intervalometer. By the way, it's cost you 10 quid. So essentially, for 10 quid, you're able to do 4 and 5K time lapses with a entry-level DSLR that's like 5 years old. So I think that's pretty decent. In fact, I've done a review of this particular intervalometer, which is the newer EZA-C1. You can check it out in the links somewhere. I'll put one in my description. Now, once you've got all those stills, what are you to do with them? Because you got, oh my gosh, in some cases I've had a few thousand photographs to go through. So Premiere is really, really good for this, and this is one of the reasons I really like Premiere. Is essentially all you need to do. You'll find that folder with all your images in, and all you need to do is press Options, Import Image Sequence, and it will import all the images and compress it into one video file. But there you go, super easy. So you have all your photographs and you just import it and import image sequence, bang, it's done. You don't have to mess with anything else other than scaling your image. iMovie, if you're using something like that, is a bit more complicated at the moment. There isn't a feature that allows you to import an image sequence. You have to bring in the images one at a time and then shrink down the time that those still frames play for as short as you can, and then maybe you want to export that and then re-import it and mess with the play time then again. So it is a really faffy process if you're using something like iMovie, but if your video editing software has something like Premiere where it allows you to import an image sequence, that's so handy. So there you go, 4K time lapses on your Canon 600d. All you need is an intervalometer, plug it in, decide how many photographs you need over what period of time. Once your shot is set up, press go, and then once your photographs have all done taking, import an image sequence, and there you go. Easy peasy. So once again, my name's Jensen. If you found this helpful or enjoyable, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe and all that goodness. Thank you for stopping by.